everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. I'm your host, Michael Tabor. So getting right into this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Jeffrey Epstein story. So people who know me, who follow me, I have a journalism background, but I'm semi-retired now. So what I really want to do is kind of get this YouTube channel going. It doesn't really matter if it grows, whatever. I'm just having a great time here. But I knew this Jeffrey Epstein story had legs. Right when he was arrested, I go, whoa, I'm talking to my wife. This is a huge story. I started doing some research and this and that. And by the way, I'm completely independent. And then the first time Jeffrey Epstein attempts suicide, right? He's taken to the hospital, blah. And then a couple of weeks later, turns out, oh, Epstein committed suicide. I knew something was going on here, and let me just do this first. I'll play a little clip from, actually Joe did a podcast yesterday with Matt Taibbi, a Saturday. Really interesting. By the way, interesting about Matt Taibbi, I'm older, and I remember his father, Matt Taibbi, and I'm like, Matt Taibbi, you look, what are you doing? You look young. You look like you're in your 30s or 40s tops. I'm like, holy shit, you must be like, aren't you like 80 years old or something? Because Matt Taibbi, his son doesn't have the junior, right? Doesn't have Matt, he's not Matt Taibbi Jr., like Don Jr., you know what I mean? All right, so let me just play this and I'll comment.
So, Jamie pointed out, this congressman, is that who it is? Yeah. Jamie pointed this out, that there's a congressman and he released a series of tweets, and the first letter of all these tweets, if you put them all together, it says Epstein didn't kill himself, or did not kill himself. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's didn't. He did, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, how do you do the apostrophe? Yeah.
So
you should have gone with did not.
Starting here with that evidence of a link.
Rep Paul Gosser. What are the odds that this guy did this accidentally? Really small, right?
That's kind of like one of those monkeys typing Shakespeare things. Yeah, I don't think it could work.
And the thing is,
That's
he did it
incredible,
backwards.
Right? Let me pause
right?
this for a second.
So you didn't see what the...
I'm going to use this stand so I don't have to hold my phone here. All right, let's see how this works. Sorry about this. It's totally unedited, unscripted, and that's what people like about it. So, by the way, I got some video editing software, and I had something called Save from Net, and I was grabbing videos and making it nice and smooth with graphics, and my subscribership went down. So, obviously, people are not interested in that. Although I see in the comments, it's like, oh, your video editing sucks. But let me just do this. There's a stand here I'm using, and let's see how that works. All right, ready?
Was until the last tweet, because the last tweet is an E.
I got a tweet from someone about 35 minutes ago that I don't know if there's a bunch of people online paying attention to it or what.
You don't need the video.
Someone alerted me and a few other people of it.
What is he? Does he have an image of that fucking mask? Is that in his shit too? Okay.
Sorry about that. I dropped the phone.
He's got the
Not until that was November 1st.
a V mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that mask again? What
V for Vendetta.
What was it representative of? It was something.
It's the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yes.
We're talking about that guy with...
Yeah. So this guy is he's thinking along alternative lines of thought. But that is really an interesting way of saying
I'll just put it down.
Alphabetry, that's called.
Yeah, just
it's a
making
podcast. Who
bunch
cares
of
about
tweets,
video?
Don't ever address it. Just leave it there. Walk
Just leave
away.
it there. Yeah, Lewis Carroll was famous for that.
Was he?
Yeah, that was one of he did a lot of sort of tricks with words. Do you read the book Gödel Bach?
No.
Yeah,
Great
there's
book.
a
I
whole
have.
bunch of stuff in there about
Douglas
people who
Hofstadter.
used, who
In
put
fact-
puzzles in text.
Here it is right here.
Thing that people did, I guess, back more in the 18th
Gödel
century.
Escher
This Epstein
Big fat
case
book. I read this when I was in my
probably
20s.
the most blatant example of a public murder of a crucial witness I've ever seen in my entire life, or anybody's ever seen. And the minimal amount of outrage about this, the minimal amount of coverage. It's fucking fascinating.
I mean, what's amazing to me, just as somebody who works in the media, is that this was shaping up to be the biggest news story in history.
Yes.
And the instant he died, or died, or however you want to call it, the story just fell off the face of the earth. It's like nobody's doing anything about it. And I don't 100% understand that. I mean, I get it, why that's happening, but it's just amazing.
Well, when the woman from ABC, what was her name? Amy, that lady, the one who Roebuck,
yeah.
who had the frustrated moment that she called it, a frustrating private moment.
Right.
When she was talking about having the scoop and having that story and them squashing it.
Right.
Like, this is all stuff that everybody used to think was conspiracy. Everybody used to think this was stoner talk. This was, you know what I mean? Like, this is stuff where people are just delusional. They believe all kinds of wacky conspiracies.
Sure.
But the reality is much less complicated. Well, this is not possible. This is one of those things that's so obvious. It's so in everyone's face.
Well, there's a couple of things going on, because there are many different ways that this could play out. I mean, you could have a news director who just sort of instinctively decides, well, we can't do that story because I might want to have Will and Kate on later, or I might want to have this politician on later. And it's not like anybody tells them necessarily that we can't do this, but
They just decide it's too hot.
If you grow up in this system and you've been in the business for a long time,
Let me just pause this for a second.
You have all these things that are drilled.
Here's what
into
Matt
you.
Taibbi looks
They're
like.
almost like the
right?
cellular
Young man.
level about what
No
you
hair,
can
but he
and
just
cannot
shaves
get
his
into.
head.
And I think there were some explicit things that happened with Epstein too. I mean,
Let me pause this for a
there were a lot of news agencies that killed stories.
All right, so I'm having the kratom and CBD. I take a spoon, put it between my cheek and gum, and then I have the CBD oil and then coffee, and that works for me. So, okay, I'll just keep it down. You don't need video. Ready? I'll talk about this Jeffrey Epstein case.
Him, that, and we're hearing about some of them, Vanity Fair, this thing, So, yeah, it's bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
When I found out that Clinton flew no less than 26 times on a plane with Epstein, I was like, dude, I haven't flown that many times with my mom. And how
That
long
takes
did
no
he know
fewer.
Epstein?
To correct Joe and
I
his
don't
grammar.
know, but I mean,
no
to
fewer
have
than
that many
26
flights,
times.
to have the Secret Service people involved, I mean, that's incredibly bold.
What was he doing? Just girls? Is Clinton that much of a hound that he would go that deep into the well that many times, 26 times?
Well, that's the thing about the Epstein story that makes no sense to me. Like, I thought that the percentage of people who were out and out, like perverts who had a serious problem, like with pedophilia or whatever, it was pretty small,
Yeah.
But they had a lot of people coming in and out of this compound, and it just seems like it's a very strange story. What were they really up to? I have no idea. And was it all a blackmail scheme? It's just so strange.
Well, it seems like the pedophilia aspect of it might be directly connected to Epstein himself. Like, he might be the one that has a problem with girls that are like 16, and he likes them very young, or he did like them. But with the other guys, it could just be girls.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, that's why it's so crazy. Like, how could it be that these... But maybe it's not.
But they knew who he was.
Yeah, but they probably didn't know the extent of it.
Probably not. Yeah, up until a point.
Up until he was arrested.
Right.
And then they're like, oh. But then that's when everybody backed off of him, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100%.
either.
Yeah, I haven't covered this story in depth. I only really got into it a little bit.
We need you. We need you in this one. You're the guy.
This is a tough one. I mean, because it mixes a lot of things that are very tough to cover.
Yes.
The intelligence world is very tough to cover. It's hard to get stories out of there that they don't want you to have.
Yeah.
And this is like the mother of all stories, in terms of that. And they're just little breadcrumbs here and there. That whole thing about Acosta, the Vanity Fair quote from him is that when he said that when he looked at the case, that he didn't do it because I was told he belonged to intelligence.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Right.
Whose intelligence? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what agency? What for? You know? And then you pair that with things like, I have friends on Wall Street who tell me I've never heard a single instance of this guy actually having a trade.
Right.
So what was his hedge
Listen
fund
to what Joe
doing?
says about...
I mean, if you think about it, a hedge fund's a perfect way to do blackmail, because
Epstein is a fraud.
you can just have people putting money in and out
He
all
didn't know
the
anything
time.
about
and
business.
it
Like
would
Trump.
look like
Trump doesn't know anything about
investment.
business.
Yeah.
So
He's just
very strange story.
an
Well,
imposter,
Eric Weinstein
an
had a
actor.
conversation
Listen,
with him. Eric Weinstein was with Peter Thiel Capital.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
He's like, he's
financially.
A fake. Yeah, he's like, he's an actor.
Right.
This is
That's what they say about Trump.
right.
Real
It's
legitimate
initial,
businessman, he doesn't know what the
almost
fuck he's
instantaneous
talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And what real clients did he ever have? What did
Yeah.
he what did he trade in? What
How's he got $1 billion or whatever he had?
Yeah, no, it's
half a billion.
under
whatever he had.
management. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Why did the guy who owns Victoria's Secrets give him a $70 million home?
Right.
in New York City. Like, what?
I mean, these are all things that would have been really interesting to get into, you know,
If he didn't, try to kill himself
if the
twice.
suicide didn't happen to him, like in The Wire.
Poor fella.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's just so unfortunate.
Okay, there's the story.
So unfortunate they can't.
I'm going to be talking a lot about this interview with Matt Taibbi. Really nice guy. And very good, too. I'll be talking more later on today about Trump and journalism today. So we have a lot of problems here. It's interesting, you know, Eric Weinstein said, Jeffrey Epstein, a hedge fund, like billionaire, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's not a real businessman. That's acting like Trump. Same sort of things. I've read so many biographies on Trump, even when he got into the casino business. It's like, well, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Like real guys, like this guy's fucking clueless. All right, they used to say Trump like knows nothing, a phony. It's the same sort of thing, fraud. All right, good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. I'll continue.